How are you, my dear students? Now we're gonna start a new chapter, chapter 34. In this chapter, we're gonna talk about sexual reproduction in human. First of all, 34.5 is talking about reproductive anatomy. So we're gonna talk about the female reproductive system and male reproductive system. Female and male reproductive organs fully developed during puberty. During puberty, the female and male reproductive organs are fully developed. Let's start with the female reproductive system. What's the function of the female reproductive system? What's the role of the female reproductive system in sexual reproduction? Number one, for production of ova or eggs, as we see. There are two main functions of the female reproductive systems: to produce ova or egg cells, or to provide a place where a zygote develops. There is one benefit of the female reproductive system that's not in the male reproductive system, is carrying the zygote inside the female reproductive system. Let's talk about the different parts of the female reproductive system. Number one, ovary. This is the ovary. How many ovaries does the female have? The female has 2 ovaries. What's the function of the ovary? The function of the ovary for production of fully matured egg or ova, where meiosis occurs and where the secondary oocyte forms prior to birth. So meiosis occurs in ovary. Also, most of the ova, they start in their meiosis and production prior to birth, before birth. After that, oviduct or fallopian tubes. Those are the oviducts or fallopian tubes. Here is it, near the ovary. This is only one side. This figure for only one side. So there is one fallopian tube. On the other side, on the left side, there is another one. This is the right ovary and right fallopian tube. Right fallopian tube. What's the function of the fallopian tube? This is the area where fertilization occurs. Actually, in the fallopian tube, the ova meets the sperm for the production of the zygote. The egg moves through the oviduct to the uterus. After that, after fertilization, the zygote will be planted in the uterus. Uterus, what's the meaning of uterus? Uterus, where the blastula stage of the embryo will implant. After formation of the zygote, the zygote after few days will go to implant inside the uterus in the form of blastula. Blastula, 3 germ layers, and develop during the 9-month gestation. So there is 9-month gestation. This 9-month gestation occurs after fertilization, and the implantation of the embryo is in the uterus. After that, vagina. Vagina is the birth canal. After full development of the embryo, in the 9th month, the embryo will start to move out through this vagina, this birth canal. So the baby passes through the cervix, from the uterus to the cervix. What's the cervix? The cervix is the mouth of the uterus. After that, into the vagina, then out. Endometrium. Endometrium is the lining of the uterus. Here it is. This is the uterus. The lining of the uterus is called endometrium. It's composed of blood vessels. This regarding to the female reproductive parts. What about the female reproductive hormones? There is one important hormone that's called estrogen. Estrogen is a steroid hormone that has three main functions. What's estrogen? It's steroid hormone, so it's lipid in nature. This is the hormone responsible for developing the female sexual characteristics. The female sexual characteristics like distribution of fats and the development of the body of the female. Number two, develops eggs. It helps in the menstrual cycle and in the formation of eggs. Prepares the uterus for pregnancy. Prepares the uterus for pregnancy. As I told you, it has a role in the menstrual cycle that we are gonna talk about later in the next lesson. Those are the three main functions of estrogen, which is the female sex hormone or female steroid hormone. What is this? This is ovary. This is the fallopian tube. And as I told you what fallopian tubes are oviducts. They are 10 centimeters long, and they are leading from ovaries to uterus. 2 ovaries and 2 fallopian tube in this area in the body. Let's talk about the male reproductive system. What's the function of the male reproductive system? As we said that the female reproductive system has two main functions. There are also functions for the male reproductive system. Number one, of course, the production of sperms. So the male reproductive system produces sperm cells and helps in the delivering of sperms to the female reproductive system. This is the male reproductive system and organs. Let's talk about the different organs and parts of the male reproductive system. Number one, testicles or tests. 2 testicles. This one is the left one, and there is also another one on the other side, the right one. Tests. Those are the male gonads or the site of sperm formation. What the function of the tests? For formation of sperms. Then vas deferens, this tube, the duct that carries sperm during ejaculation. Carries sperms during ejaculation. This is the vas deferens. It carries sperms during ejaculation from the epididymis to the penis. From epididymis to the this way, and moves through the seminal vesicles, and there is also prostate to the penis. What the function of the prostate gland? The prostate gland is the large gland that secretes semen directly into the urethra. Here is the prostate. It directs the semen, the fluid that has the sperms, directly into the urethra. This is the urethra, which is also part of the urinary system, into the penis. After that, the scrotum. What's the scrotum? This sac that is outside the body, and it holds the tests. To keep the tests outside, to make sure that the temperature there enables the sperm to survive, because the sperms cannot live in high temperature inside the body. That's why the tests should be, or the testicles should be outside the body. They are holded in the scrotum to make sure that the temperature is good for the sperms to survive. Finally, this tube, which is the urethra, that carries semen and urine. As I told you, in the female body there is a female sex hormone. The sex hormone for female was estrogen. What about the male? Testosterone. Testosterone also is a steroid hormone. It's lipid in nature, and it has two main functions: developing the male sexual characteristics. The sexual characteristics like deep voice, change in voice, the growing of hair in different body parts, plus the production of sperms. Such a way, we finished the reproductive anatomy in human. Thank you.